welcome to this short series of videos designed to assist employers who wish to apply the disciplinary process. Before we start with this first video, which is the essential stuff you absolutely have to know about disciplinary processes, I need to make one very important point, and that is that many people will have heard of the phrase instant dismissal for gross misconduct cases. There is no such thing. Let me dispel that rumour straight away. There is no such thing as an instant dismissal. It's vitally important that we always follow a process when dealing with disciplinary matters, and this series of videos is going to go through all of those stages of the process. In terms of the essential summary, there are three clear parts of the disciplinary process. There is the investigation, there is the hearing, and if the employee appeals, then there is the appeal phase as well. The three phases typically are carried out by different people. So one person will hear the investigation, another person will hear the hearing, and the third person will hear any appeal if it's necessary. Now, I recognise that in a small business that might not be necessary, particularly in an owner-managed business, for example. So in those circumstances, it's important that if one person is going to hear all three stages, that they are as impartial as possible in each and every stage. And sometimes that can be quite difficult to do. So one thing that small businesses might consider is involving an HR consultant to do, I would suggest, the appeal stage. The last stage of the process, which is the appeal stage, is our final opportunity to correct any errors that were made earlier on in the process. And that's why I think that's the appropriate point to bring an HR consultant in a small business. In summary, for the essential things you need to know, there are, as I've said, three stages: an investigation, a hearing and an appeal. The investigation stage is solely designed to establish whether or not a hearing is actually necessary. The hearing obviously reviews the allegation and the evidence that's been gathered during the investigation. And then if the employee appeals, the appeal stage is our last opportunity to make sure that procedurally everything is right and that it's been conducted in accordance with our disciplinary policy. A separate person should conduct each stage, and that's particularly important for final warnings and dismissals, because they're the stages the tribunal will look at. But if in a small company that's not possible, you might consider using an HR consultant for the last stage. If you don't, that's fine, but do try to remain impartial through all of those stages. In future videos, we'll look at each stage in a bit more detail. And as always at my HR department, we're happy to assist employers.